So now let us begin the translation method. The translation method, sometimes also known as the classical method, as I told you, is a traditional teaching technique that was used to teach Latin and Greek, and was particularly in vogue, I must say, in the 16th century. The focus at that time was on the translation of texts. Like you know, when English was introduced in India, the focus wasn't on the spoken English. The focus was on understanding, means to understand the language, or to write it, or to be able to read it. That was the focus. So even this method is followed for teaching Latin and Greek. Even the Europeans, they learned Latin and Greek through this method. Why? As I said, the focus was on translation of texts, or say teaching of grammar, and rote learning of vocabulary. Okay, what does it mean? Rote learning of means they learn the rules by heart. If you know the rules, that doesn't mean that you can even speak the language. Well, you can understand it, you can read, or you can even write. But as far as spoken part is concerned, spoken skill is concerned, you cannot acquire simply by learning the rules of grammar, syntax, and all. So there was no emphasis on speaking and listening comprehension, because Latin and Greek were taught more as academic subjects rather than as means of oral communication. Okay, rather than as means of oral communication. Now, in the present century, in the present decade, or say since the past few decades, English is being taught for the oral communication, so that we are able to communicate in English. Now our students are able to communicate in English. So we have advanced there in this area, you may say. I was telling you about Latin and Greek. The same can be said about teaching of Sanskrit and Arabic, or say Persian in India. The learners of these languages know how to read, write, and understand, but speaking fluently in them remains a mere dream for them. Like, as far as students are concerned, they can read Arabic text. Okay, they can even write something there in Arabic, and same can be said about Sanskrit. We taught it there in a curriculum. Since then since it is there in our curriculum, we learn it. We learn to read, we learn to write. But as far as speaking is concerned, some can, with their diligence, with their devotion, with their dedication, also learn how to speak a little, but they cannot speak fluently. Same can be said about Persian also. Although there were many poets like Ghalib and all who composed their couplets and ghazals in Persian, but there were very few. How many Ghalibs are there here? Very few. Okay, and since Kalidas and all, they composed epics and works in Sanskrit, because Sanskrit was in vogue. Say in the ancient India, you may say. As far as Sanskrit is concerned, it was spoken, it was written, it was understood very well, say around 1,000 years ago. But now very few understand Sanskrit. The translation method is thus the oldest teaching method of English, I must say, in India. It is as old as the introduction of English in the country. When the English came here, they introduced this method, and when they introduced it, the easiest method that we thought was the translation method, and it was in fact the easiest method. So we took it up. In spite of other methods of teaching English, this method, I must say, is still used in most of the classrooms in India. If you happen to go to rural schools, even now, okay, even today, if you have a round of the schools, then you would find the teachers of English teaching through the translation method. So even now this is followed. Okay, even now it is followed. And suppose if I talk about the principles of the translation method, then I would say the translation method is based on the on certain principles, like translation interprets the words and phrases of the foreign language in the best possible manner. Like, you can have one-to-one equivalent, you may say. So it is based, it interprets the words and phrases of the foreign language in the best possible manner, in the sense that, suppose if you ask me, like how to explain the word method, so I would tell the meaning in Hindi instead of defining the word. Because if I'm defining method, if I'm defining adopt, if I'm defining adapt, that would take time. It will be time consuming. And not only that, students might not understand the meaning exactly. They will not get the one-to-one equivalent. It would be baffling for them. So what is the first principle as far as principle of translation method is concerned? That it interprets the words and phrases of the foreign language in the best possible manner, which is not possible with the direct method or audiolingual method, for that matter. The foreign physiology is best assimilated, best absorbed in this process of interpretation. Like, students do not forget the meanings if you tell them the Hindi equivalents to them. Like, you are once told, well, pen means qalam, okay, and this handkerchief means rumal, so they are going to remember it. And suppose, if you ask me what is pen, and I'm defining, well, it's a cylindrical object and there is ink in it and it is used for writing. Now see what a big description I'm giving. Or say, what's handkerchief? Well, it's a square piece of cloth which is used for wiping face and all. So if you're giving these definitions, they are time consuming and they do not understand it. They would forget it. So if I'm just telling them, well, pen means qalam and handkerchief means rumal, then these words will be assimilated in their memory. They won't forget it. So you may say the English physiology is, or the foreign physiology for that matter, is best assimilated, best absorbed in this process of interpretation. Like, there are certain words like nobody says chammach or chamcha because we are told that instead of saying chammach and chamcha, we find a spoon, a easy word. We do not say samachar pat, instead of samachar pat we say newspaper, and we don't even say television. What do we say? Television in Hindi? Doordarshan. We don't say Doordarshan, or we do not say Doorbhash. Do we? We don't. We don't say even Samay. Right? In place of them, what words do we use? We say television, telephone, time. Or say the answer sheet that you got, when you write your answers there in exam, we call it answer sheet. Okay? And some students, I don't know, they call it copy, which is a very wrong word, in place of notebook. So we say notebook. And I don't even know what is the Hindi version of this. Why? Because these English words, they have been absorbed in our in our minds. They have been very nicely assimilated. I hope you understand this.